Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. It really helps out. It really gets the word out. Subscriptions have grown. We can't thank you enough. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everyone's favorite TikTok, and of course on Reddit. Join us for a conversation there. And it sounds like we may be joining this new Threads social media too. So check us out there once we get set up.
More social media. Let's go. CFL week 5. We're going to talk a little bit of Bombers. Then we're going to go into some critical questions that we have for each team. And then we're going to give our quick and dirty predictions. And then we're going to get out of here. So let's start with the Bombers. What do you think they got to do? What checks do they got to do on the to-do list to get out of Calgary with a win?
They got to get a little bit more efficient on offense. We've seen it in game 1. Offense was ticking against Hamilton. Game 2, again, offense came out, started a little bit slow, but then picked it up by the second half and was on fire against Saskatchewan. Game 3, BC took them out completely. And then they got a bit going in Montreal. But I would like to see a little bit more efficiency and figure out which offense is going to show up. Bring a little bit more from Claros, a little bit more connection with those receivers. Yeah. And hopefully that O-line can block like they did last game. And I think they can against Montreal, because Montreal is one of the worst pass rushing teams in the league right now. So I expect that offense. It's got to get going. Or
against Calgary.
Not get going, but
yeah. We're playing Calgary, not Montreal.
Oh, sorry, Calgary.
Establish the running game. I'm going to keep going with the offense. The Bombers are cracking about 130 yards per game. Oliveira has 2 100-yard games already, and Calgary allows 100 yards rushing a game. So this is a prime matchup for them to really explode on the running game. I think Calgary is like averaging or allowing 5.3 yards a game. That might be worse or second worst in the CFL. So continue to use that bully ball that they had to use in Montreal because of the rain and the weather conditions, but continue to do that against Calgary. And let me just continue against the run. The Bombers have to stop the run. They haven't had a good time against Calgary against the run. I know Kadeem Carey isn't playing, but Dedrick Mills is not a bad running back. He's broken 100 already this year. He's averaging the most yards per game rushing. He's only played 2 games, but at 88 yards per game. So they got to stop that run.
Yeah, and this will be one of the bigger tests for that Bomber D against a run, especially the way the Calgary offense has kind of been playing. And Jake Maier has not been good so far this season. Only 57.7% of his passes completed, only 2 TDs, 5 interceptions. So he needs that run game, especially with a lot of hurt receivers. Reggie Begelton may be back, so that'll help Calgary. But you're still without Malik Hooker, Luther. I'm not even going to say this right.
Yeah, I know.
No.
You tried.
So
you tried.
And really, that Calgary D has not been good. So they're going to need some long drives, running game, like you say, to keep this Bomber offense off the field. But that flips on the other side. The Bomber D line, Jake Maier has been under pressure, and the Bomber D line has to have another game like they did against Montreal. And bring that pressure and attack Jake Maier and throw him off his game, and have them maybe try more on the run, and maybe they'll, that'll work out into Bombers' favor.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's a big blow not to have Malik Henry. Yeah, Reggie Begelton might play. And they just signed a receiver that they had last year. Oh my goodness.
Someone Google from the that. NFL
we'll find it. Yeah. So the Saps are going to be hard pressed to get much of an air attack going. So that may even leave some Bomber linebackers to focus more on the run and shut down Dedrick Mills. And he said that they really got to get the D-line and the pass rush going. They got to take advantage of that matchup with that left tackle, Bryce Bell. He's not their usual starting left tackle. He usually plays interior line. He's started at center, played guard. He played a little tackle last year, but especially at left tackle, he's going to have to deal with Willie Jefferson for most of the game. And if not Willie Jefferson, it's going to be Jeffcoat. So they really got to send the pressure on that guy and take advantage of the. You'd think it'd be an uneven matchup with someone like Willie Jefferson, who's really felt it last week.
Yeah, and it's good to see that Jeffcoat has not been on the injury report at all. So he's been practicing in full, no questions. So he should be good to go, no issues Friday. So having him and Willie there for a second game in a row, it'll be great. And going back a little bit, Calgary has given up almost 60 offensive plays a game. are allowed 60 offensive plays a game. So they really need that running game to slow down. If you're going to give the Bombers 60 offensive plays, they're going to take advantage of it,
Without a
and
doubt.
looks like Dembski's going to be back. He practiced in full today. So that whole offense right now, obviously besides Lawler, should be good to go.
Yeah.
The only issue I see, and especially with the run game, is Adam Bighill has been limited. He's questionable, so that probably means he's playing. But if he's a little bit injured, because Shane Gauthier looks like he's out, so Calgary could take advantage of it in that run game if Bighill's not 100%.
Yeah. That Rachel, like, how do you get Greg McRae in there after a game like he played? Like, that's some magic that O'Shea and his coaching staff have to make happen. Like, you'd love
Yeah,
to see a guy like McRae there on every offensive down with what he brings. But ratio wise, you got to do the math.
you do. Yeah, they have to figure it out. Hopefully, they can get him in there, but
Yeah.
might be tough now that Dembski's back. You have to
You got
sit someone
anything?
else.
You got anything else on your to-do list?
You know what? They just got to go out and win the game.
That's a to-do. That's a to-do. They can also maybe do some, no, I shouldn't say they and point at the same time. Get some better blocking going for Janneri and Grant. Calgary is like second worst in regards to kickoff coverage, allowing about 25, a little bit more than 25 yards per game. So you get those lanes for Janneri and Grant. He could bust a big one. He's the best kickoff returner in the league right now.
Yeah, and he was quiet last game. And usually when he's quiet, the next game he kind of bounces back and has some kind of good return. We saw that against Saskatchewan. So yeah, it'd be good. The Bombers started a lot deep in their own end against Montreal. So it was some long drives that they had to make. And I know they went for a couple long bombs, but I don't think they connected. Did they connect on any? I know they got a pass interference on one, but I don't think they actually ended up connecting on anything deep. So
it wasn't a very good night for much offense.
No, not throwing wise. I mean, Oliveira had a great night, but Montreal's got a good D. So I'll give him credit for that.
They'll be tested this week.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that when we get quick and dirty. In the predictions. Jesus. Let's go to critical questions for the league. We'll start in the West, but don't worry, East. We're going to alternate. So, start with BC. Got that matchup with the Owls? What's their critical question?
Yeah, can VA, Vernon Adams, bounce back? Montreal's got a strong D, like we just said. And that D made things tough on the Bombers, especially through the air. Obviously not on the run game. So I think BC may have to lean on that run game a little bit. At least this game is in BC. It's in a dome, so it won't be a torrential downpour like the Bombers had to face. But this is a tough D for VA to bounce back again. I think you'll have an average kind of game, nothing spectacular, but I don't see him throwing up 6 more interceptions. So I expect a better game for him and a better called game all around.
Yeah, well, I'll go to the Montreal team, and their critical question this week is: can Montreal keep BC off the scoreboard? I don't think so. Not because VA is going to have this amazing game or anything like you said. He's not going to throw 6 picks again. That was a disaster. I don't think that. But I just think that they'll get the ball back so much that they will eventually score. And it's like BC's defense is really good, and Montreal's offense is not that good.
Yeah,
so I think playing in BC, the weather's going to be good. Nothing's going to mess the field up. I think BC is going to be able to score points. I don't think Montreal will be able to keep them off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I wonder if Chiante Evans is back, the DB there from Montreal, who's had a pretty good start to the season. He missed the Bomber game, so we'll see if he's back.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like BC has such depth in their receiving. We'll see.
Yeah, and again with them too, is Lucky Whitehead going to be back? But do you really need him? I mean, if he's out, you obviously want him. But if he's
Hollins
out,
is playing good.
Yeah, you still have some good receivers there. Otherwise,
Hollins is like 83% on targets.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You have a next West question?
Let's just go back to the Bombers here and talk about them. And it goes back to it a bit. Will the real offense please stand up? Or will the So to me, I'd like to see that efficiency from week 1, week 2, where they were kind of moving the ball up and down the field. I don't expect them to score on every drive, but I expect more than, say, 2 drives like they did against Montreal, and one was aided by an interception return to past midfield. So we'll see. I expect them to against Calgary's D, because Calgary's D has not been very good. So
yeah, I think they're gonna have some fun on Friday. I can't wait. Cowbell's warming up. My critical question for Toronto: has Chad Kelly taken the next step? Yes, I think he has. Uh, let's make it clear: the next step doesn't mean bona fide CFL star. Last year, we saw that he can make a big play in a big game when needed. This year, he's taking a step of not making big mistakes that hurt the team, and at the same time, making big plays when he has to. And he can make these throws like across his body, that 17-yard pass touchdown to Tavares Daniels. Like, he's not there yet, but I definitely think he's taken that next step. Like, he hasn't put the team on his back. He hasn't come back from behind, really. We haven't seen him do like an efficient 2-3 minute drill when the game matters. So I think there's that, but still, I think he's taken the next step.
Yeah, he's definitely growing. And it's going to be one of those seasons, I think, where they're going to have an up and down season. And good thing for him, Toronto's D has played fairly well. Like you say, they haven't been behind in games that he has to try and bring them back. I know in Edmonton they were down a bit, but that was probably never really in question. But so I expected, good steps, good steps.
Props to Dinwiddie for
Yeah,
for it, finding that guy's weaknesses and finding a way to cover them up so far.
yeah. Dinwiddie's actually turned into seems to be a good coach. You know, when we were questioning him quite a bit last year, but maybe it was McLeod Bethel Thompson more than Dinwiddie.
Mhm. Who?
Yeah, exactly. My question, Calgary, going back to the game against the Bombers, can the offense and Jake Meyer overcome all those injuries and play well against the Bomber D?
No.
I don't think so. Not in this game. I think at this point it's going to be a rough one for Calgary, which is hard to really, well, surprising to say almost in a way because we always expect Calgary to have good teams, but right now they're a lot of injuries, but they haven't been very good either. So I think this will be a tough one for them to bounce back, and I see them dropping the 1-3. Oh, I did my prediction too early.
Oy. And we've really, like, do you think the majority of this is just the loss of John Huffnagel's hand on the team?
Maybe. I mean, he's still there though, right? But he's just president. So maybe it's also Dave Dickinson's first time, now being the GM as well. And it's another piece added to his plate, right?
Yeah.
And having to find guys is a different story than trying to coach guys. So
Yeah, too much on his
yeah,
plate. You think he took too much in the buffet line?
yeah, maybe right now, maybe needs some time to get better at being a GM, but
Yeah.
right now it's not looking good. And they haven't really brought in. I know injuries are hurting them, Kadeem Carey, Malik, all those guys, but
Mhm.
doesn't seem they brought in any playmakers, and they let a lot of guys leave. So
Yeah. I mentioned this earlier on in the year with the loss of Bo Levi Mitchell and Derek Dennis. You're losing a lot of culture, a
yeah,
lot of winning culture.
and Thurman too to Hamilton, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's not my favorite team. Can Hamilton do its part in keeping teams coming off the bye week undefeated? No, I don't think they can. Like, especially against Ottawa, what we seen them do last week. Hamilton's allowed 113 yards rushing a game. Ottawa's averaging over 100 yards rushing a game. This is not a good matchup for Hamilton. They will lean on Tuggle, who got like what 17 carries, 126, especially with Mazzoli in.
yeah,
Yeah, no, Toronto's not going to help that undefeated streak for teams coming off a bye.
yeah. It seems to be rough with Hamilton now. They signed Kai Loxley there, the quarterback that was just kicked to the curb by Edmonton. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's going to get any better for them.
I'm cheering for that guy. I'm cheering for
Yeah,
that guy. Anyone who tells Chris Jones to go shove it, go. You go and do the short yardage. He tells Chris Jones, you go and do it. I like that guy. Well, he didn't say that technically, but I'm just
no,
imagining. Sorry, go
something
ahead.
something along those lines, probably.
Yeah, yeah. I wish.
Saskatchewan, can they weather the injury storm? Um, Tons of injuries again for them as well. But
Oh,
luckily they get the Elks this week, so they're facing a pretty bad team. So I think that for this week they can definitely weather that storm and probably get by with missing some of these guys. But they will definitely need these guys back as the weeks go on because they're missing some good. Jake Waynicki
yeah.
is out, so they're missing some good players.
Considering they could. Don't sleep on Saskatchewan. That's hard to say as a Winnipeg fan, but don't sleep on Saskatchewan. If they get a roll late in the season,
Yeah,
uh,
we'll see. We'll see. They started 4-1 last year and then imploded. So
yeah, that's right. Forgot. Can the Red Blacks continue to build on the win with a QB change? I think so. I just gloat about their rushing game, which they'll pretty much use to keep Mazzoli safe and keep the extra pressure off of him, hopefully. And I don't know, maybe that was part of the strategy to make sure he had a good off. I'm not saying it's fully part of the strategy. I'm sure Medicine had maybe 90% of it, 95% of it. But maybe they want to make sure they had that offensive line good and a running game good, so they weren't exposing this guy. You
Yeah.
know, they're able to keep him in the pocket rather than having guys, come out all crazy and lose him again early in the season. But yeah, I hope they, you know, do well with the change, and I think they will.
Yeah, it's too bad that Tyree Adams tore his Achilles, right? Or was it the ACL?
ACL low
Yeah, it's
hit.
yeah, it's too bad that happened. It would have been a good backup to actually learn from Mazzoli, and if anything happened to Mazzoli, at least he got this guy coming in who can learn the game and get better as the season
Yeah.
went on. But unfortunate.
It's so hard. Like that, I don't think it was done maliciously. So yeah, I'm not even comment. I think it's it's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
It's carelessness, maybe. I don't think maliciousness, but yeah.
My
Those
question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you go.
Oh, okay. My question for Edmonton. Now that they're going back to Cornelius, can McAdoo put together a game plan that doesn't force Cornelius to try and carry this team? I'm not going to just blame Cornelius here. I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback, obviously, but the running game has been non-existent so far for the Elks either. The
Yeah.
O-line has had trouble blocking and opening up that running game. And when you're expecting Cornelius to carry your team or any quarterback that's there for Edmonton, right now, that's not going to help, especially that Eugene Lewis is out, your biggest playmaker that you signed again, it's a big offseason move. So McAdoo's got to find some kind of common ground or get this running game going here.
They're in trouble.
No, they are. Yeah.
I don't have much to add to that. They are in trouble in Edmonton. Like, ugh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Victor Cui, oh my goodness, that's a challenge. Like, how do you get people in that building when the team is so bad?
I like
Hardcore Elks fans are saying they might go 0-18.
Yeah, well, I mean, you haven't won at home, so your next, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, see? Yeah, it was speechless. Let's go to our quick and dirty predictions then. Might as well. Let's start with the Elks game against the Rough Riders. Elks, we just talked about them. I have no idea what Chris Jones sees in Cornelius. I have no idea what Edmonton saw in Chris Jones. Rough Riders win, and probably big.
Yeah, Cornelius starts. Will he finish? I don't know what Trey Ford has done to not even get an opportunity here. Again, no Eugene Lewis, it looks like. So I'm going with Saskatchewan as well.
Trey Ford is a fan favorite, and Chris Jones can be a bit of a dink.
Yeah.
Calgary, Winnipeg. Winnipeg defense got a boost with Jeff Coat, and there'll be too much for any QB just trying to find a way. So I got Winnipeg on this one.
Yeah, I agree there. And my thing too is Bomber D will be too much for Jake Meyer. And even if the Bomber offense struggles, I think the D will do enough to shut down Calgary's offense.
Absolutely. Who do you got? Red Blacks, Tiger Cats.
Ooh. I'm going with the Red Blacks. Mazzoli's back. Chances are he's going to be rusty. I mean, he hasn't played in a year at least, right? Yeah. But I still give him the edge over Schultz over in Hamilton. And the D's will be a bigger factor in this game. And I think Ottawa's D has been playing better than Hamilton's D so far. So I'm going to give the edge and I'm going to give the Red Blacks the win.
Yeah. Hamilton is a rudderless ship. The coaching is invisible. The QBing is non-existent. Ottawa has found a running game, and they're going to abuse probably the Ticats with it. So I'll take Ottawa with a second win in a row. Red Blacks, Ticats. You see that 5 times fast?
No, I don't even want to try.
Wow. Owls versus Lions. Who do you got in that game?
I'm going to take the Lions. Fajardo was on the run last week against the Bombers, and now he's facing another D that's tied with the Bombers for sacks at 14. Matthew Betts, he's going to be licking his chops. And BC's D has still played very well, and we saw Fajardo struggle against Bombers, and not just with the sacks, but in points wise. So yeah. I'm going to give BC the edge and the win.
BC by lots for sure. And like we mentioned, there's a dome there, so none of that nonsense is going to happen. They'll have the ball so much that they'll score enough of the times. BC with the win. Friends, fans, Put your predictions, put your comments below. Thanks for the great predictions last week. Get in on the comments, not only here on YouTube, but on Reddit. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, and have a good weekend and enjoy some good football.
Yeah, and in the words of my boy, LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time. That's my boy. He's my boy.
You know him well? You're my boy.
No, we don't know each other.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.